Today's comment. My friend of 4 years calls me Caitlin when my name is Keelan. I think it would be kind of weird to tell him now though. Generally calm people of Reddit, what made you lose your absolute shit that time? A cab driver who tried to take advantage of a drunk girl. I'm a medic, so I'm used to dealing with a lot of frustrating individuals on the daily, but this guy was infuriating. There was a big EDM festival in town, so we were expecting to get more unconscious/overdose calls than usual. I was pretty far out from the venue, but sure enough got tagged on a call for a 20-something-year-old female in a cab, unconscious, not wearing pants. I pull up on scene next to the cab, and shifty cab driver is standing next to the passenger side door just pointing at this girl passed out in the front seat. I open the door, and, as promised, her skirt has written up around her waist and she's not wearing any underwear. I cover her up with a blanket, and wake her up. She's groggy and a bit confused, but otherwise fine and just had too much fun at the festival. As I try to move her into the ambulance, Shifty starts demanding he gets paid for the ride. She manages to find her credit card, and he hands her the pin pad. She's having trouble holding onto it, so Shifty gestures to me to help her. I take a look at the screen, and it reads $112. I look at the meter on the dash, $62. So I turn to him and ask, hey sir, what are you charging her an extra $50 for? He stutters for a few seconds and then claims she vomited in the car and it's a cleanup fee. So I take a look around. UHH sir, I see no vomit. He opens the back door and points to a dry, crumpled up napkin on the floor. See, right here. This is when I kinda lost it. Okay dude, do you think that I don't know what vomit looks like? I practically specialize in vomit. People vomit in my car every shift. That's a napkin. And there's no chance in hell I'm going to let you take advantage of a vulnerable girl to make a quick few bucks. I took the girl's card out of the machine, told him that her medical emergency is the priority right now, and that she wouldn't be paying a cent. At this point the cops arrive, and Shifty changes his tune completely. All he cares about is her safety. Everything worked out in the end, but man, that guy was a real dickhead. I had things all set up to play piano with a string quartet for a wedding ceremony in church. The grand piano was up front, near the couple, and the organ in the rear to be used later. When I entered the church, I found that the florist had placed a large vase of roses on the grand piano, using the sheet music for the string quartet underneath the vase to absorb water. Rarely do I lose my cool, but I did that time. Members of the string quartet told him in no uncertain terms where he could stick those roses as they tried to salvage their soaked music scores. It was Halloween, and I was sitting out the front of my house watching my sister take my niece, who was around 4, trick-or-treating. The people who lived above us, we lived in a maisonette, decided to shoot a firework at them. This is the only time I've lost my shit. Got them inside the house, made sure they were alright. Sister had only a few non-serious burns on her arm, and managed to shield my niece from the explosion. At that point I was just so angry, went up to their door, and starting banging on it demanding they come out. They didn't answer, so I starting trying to kick the door in. My mum and brother dragged me away and back inside to calm me down. Half an hour later the police arrived, because the neighbors had called them about me. Luckily after we explained what had actually happened I didn't get in any trouble, but neither did they. I'm a soccer referee, and known for being calm, no matter how heated a player/coach/fan gets. About 6 months ago I was officiating a girls U16 game, and when a player from team A fouled a player from team B, the B player's mom jumped up and said, "Don't touch my daughter, bitch." I threw out the parent and stopped the game for 2 minutes to lecture the entire group of spectators, at one point using the phrase, "My job is to babysit your daughters, not some out of shape middle-aged mom who's drinking wine out of her coffee cup at 9 in the morning, not a peep from the sidelines the rest of the game. A guy kicked my dog. I had never hit anyone before that moment. Almost got charged, but I'd do it again. In secondary school, a girl sitting next to me kept emptying my pencil case onto the floor and laughing with her friend about it, so I punched her on the top of the head. Sort of like a lever coming down. She cried and I got detention, but that was fine. Looking back, she probably fancied me, but you mess with whispers you get the lever thump. I'm 30 now, but if you empty my pencil case onto the floor I'll still take a detention for a good downward thump. One evening shift, after months of bullshit, we were once again understaffed during the 17:30 to 18:30 post-work shopping rush. It was extraordinarily busy that evening, making the situation even more frustrating and stressful, with only 2 out of possible 4 cashiers working their asses off to counter the ever-growing lines of ever-frustrated customers. I think I was having dinner, as I also had the afternoon shift, in the break room, where that fuckhead of manager was just lazing about, and I was constantly called back to the store to help people the 2 other kids who were there couldn't handle, all while there was no one on the shop floor where other chores were waiting to be done as well as customers with questions. I think at one point as I went back to the break room he asked me to do something. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but at that point I snapped and exploded, shouting loud enough for probably half the shop to hear in a way that I never do. I was just shouting that he just sat there on his ass reading the paper while too few people were trying to do much, and that he should haul himself on the shop floor to help us the fuck out for once. Some light swearing might have been involved. Before he could respond I stomped out back, put on my game face, and continued helping customers. I can't even recall whether my once-in-a-lifetime outburst really did anything, except surprise a few co-workers that I was capable of flipping out like that. The manager might have just pretended it never happened. But holy shit did it feel good to do. Let me tell ya, it was a good day when that fucker was actually out of there. In 7th grade, I was at an honor band. This guy that was 2 years older kept trying to randomly hug me, or pull on my hair or pop my bra strap, so I turned around and smacked him in the face with my clarinet case. When my boyfriend and I were breaking up over the phone and I asked to come by to get a dress I left at his place, he informed me he accidentally threw it out. This and a combination of him telling me he didn't want a relationship anymore after telling me 2 days ago we were fine. I lost it. I saw red and have never yelled so much in my life. I had a job filling vending machines in my mid-30s and was servicing one of my larger accounts that we called full service. Basically they had soda, snack, and cold food machines. Most of the customers, while on their break, would come over to me and request certain items. That was not a problem. But there was this one guy that would take it too far. A 21-year-old, know-it-all. He would stand next to me during his break, and he would constantly tell me how to do my job better, and tell me about complaints other employees had, but they were not telling me in person. Those complaints almost seemed made up, just so he can have something to say. So one day, while I had the food machine door open, and I was checking the expiration dates of the milk, he kept interrupting me and telling me to not miss the dates on the milk, and to make sure there is an even amount of chocolate and whole milk. I lost it. I stood up, and I got right in his face. I didn't yell, but I said loudly enough for others to hear, "Why do you always come over here and nug me while I'm trying to do my job? How would you like it if I went and started jumping up and down on the bed while your mom was trying to do her job?" He got extremely red and looked like he wanted to hit me. Then he walked away. I immediately shut and locked all of my machines and left. I called my really good friend who was a supervisor at the time and told him to be expecting a phone call because I'm probably going to get fired. Never got the call, and the kid finally left me alone. I'm a bit more quick to anger these days, but as a child I was fairly quiet and such. When I was in 6th grade, I think, I was always forced to go to church every Sunday and Wednesday. Perks of growing up in the Bible Belt. I've always been a pretty heavy reader, and like most kids at that time I was heavily into the Harry Potter series. The people at the church my mother forced me to attend decided that those books were not only of the devil himself, but also surely corrupting me. They took every opportunity to tell me so. Making matters worse, the son of my Sunday school teacher decided he was responsible for correcting my devilish ways. In addition to harassing me about these books every chance he got, he also began getting physical about it. I pretty much just let it all go, because it was just a bunch of idiots. What did I care? That is, until he spit in my face. Twice. I chased him down and proceeded to beat the shit out of him. I've only been in a few fights, but I've never been in one where I was this absolutely livid. He never bothered me about my choice in books again. I stopped being forced to go to church, so I guess it all worked out okay. My college made us buy parking passes for guests in the parking lot, which was only ever maybe 60% full even on weekends. My girlfriend came to visit, and we bought the $8 pass, and the front desk girl gave us a pencil to fill it out with a license plate and arrival time, etc. When she went to leave Sunday, there were 3 parking tickets, one for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, of $25 each, because we wrote the parking pass in pencil. Rage inducing. As if we aren't already paying enough money. You have a message from the person. Like and sub for nothing.